forest is so beautiful today. This is more of a wetland, and then the lake can come up in here, so it's a lot of driftwood, and it gets mixed around and redistributed when the lake's up high. The lake's quite a ways down there. It's windy, south wind. It's in the 60s. It's after between 2 and 3 p.m. mid-afternoon. The light's very soft today. It's really nice. Lots of birds around, typical winter birds for here. Black-eyed junco, dark-eyed juncos. Cardinal, chickadees. I haven't heard any woodpeckers. The downy, red-belly, red-headed woodpeckers. And you get yellow-bellied sapsuckers in here too in the winter. I haven't heard the woodpeckers today, surprisingly. I was thinking I heard kinglets. There's golden crown and ruby crown kinglets here. And I learned the airbird from a guy, and he could tell the difference. And I could see him and hear him on occasion, and I never could tell the difference. I got to where I could tell a lot of birds, and even warbler songs in the spring, but I never could get those kinglets very well. I also had that problem in the summer with whippoorwills and chuck-wills widows. I lived in the transition zone, and I could tell the difference in their calls at night, their songs, but they only sing at night, or that's when you hear them. But I never could. I'd listen to on eBird and online different recordings. I never could tell which was which, but I could tell the difference in their song. I never could tell which was singing which song. But it's quite beautiful here. There's actually growth. These small trees under the canopy have green leaves. It's protected in here. There's a little stream right below me. And the big trees have dropped their leaves. The deciduous trees have. And then I walked through some pine stands. Of course, they're still green. And I have pine warblers. They sometimes will start singing, the pine warblers, in January, but usually don't hear them until spring. Breeding season. But I think about how this is all interconnected, and how humans just see this as a resource, as dollars, and it's discouraging. It's a dismal outlook for forests and for the animals, and that's been the trend, is ecosystem destruction. Environmental destruction, biosphere destruction, and it may sound negative, but that's what's happening. There's no sense in sugarcoating it. I was thinking about a guy, I can't remember his name, maybe Jerry Mander or something. Jerry, that sounds like a joke. Jerry something, he wrote, "In absence of the sacred," and your soul or spirit or consciousness, whatever you want to call it, it does need that sacred. It does need to respect our reality and the living things in it, and many things are sentient, and we're not respecting that, and it comes back to cost us. And I see the destruction. I've been in environmental battles, and people. I was telling somebody not too long ago, some people, and it tends to be fundamentalist religious people, frankly, and it tends to be conservative, and I am a moderate. I do agree in certain conservative principles, and I agree with certain liberal principles, and so I'm not even slamming them. I'm just saying that's the way it is. They don't care. They do not care about the environment whatsoever. And some as religious beliefs, they think God's going to come back and just create a new earth, and so just trash this one. There's no responsibility. There's no stewardship, and which is, to me, is insanity. And I noticed long ago the things I hold important or value, or most people don't, and so it makes for a very frustrating existence in life when you care for certain things and see those as very important, if not the most important, and others could care less whatsoever. But I came back my little break area here, this big tree. It fell over in the ice storm of January 2007. It was a catastrophic ice storm. And it fell over because it was right on the edge of this little creek over here, and only half of it was rooted in. And we had just tremendous amount of ice, freezing rain, and the weight toppled it over. It toppled over 3 large trees at my house, and it did it overnight. They were the next morning, looked out there, and these 3 huge trees that tipped over in my backyard. They didn't hit the house, but this fell over, and a lot of trees did that. It had rained for a couple of days, a lot of rain before, so it softened up the ground. Then we had the ice storm, and it was a catastrophic ice storm, just a huge amount of ice stuck to the trees. So now you had all this weight on the trees, and the ground was saturated with the rain, and they just fell over. Then you had a lot of branches. It was so bad though, even branches. I can remember being out here after the ice storm, and you could hear, even days later, you could still hear branches, big branches, breaking out of trees. And I remember one I saw, it was huge, and I heard this noise, and I looked around, and I don't know, maybe 20, 30 yards away, this huge branch broke out of this tree and was crashing down through the smaller limbs. And it went on for a few days. I remember that next day, it was a Sunday, I went out and filled my bird feeders, and there was ice and snow on the ground. And it was just a constant cracking. I lived out in a wooded area. I could just constantly hear branches breaking. It was just, an experience you rarely have. But anyway, I do value this, and I value habitats, ecosystems, the environment, the biosphere, and I don't care what anybody says, call me names, whatever, I don't care. I know what's important in my heart. And I love this. I seek it, and it soothes my soul.